Well, welcome. Here we are, Cosmic Wholeness, and our second session exploring the pattern of spiral. Super excited to take us into some explorations. But before we do, let's just recognize and honor this threshold into our session just by checking in. What do I need? What do I need to fully arrive in myself, in this space? Just allowing ourselves to breathe, stretch, close our eyes, jiggle. All right, welcome everyone. Here we are, Cosmic Wholeness, and our second session exploring the pattern of spiral. Before we get swooped into it, let's just recognize and honor this moment of threshold into the session just by checking in. What do I need right now to fully arrive in this space, in this session, in me? Do I need some deep breaths? Do I need some movement? Do I need a moment of stillness? Then I invite you to join me in our little opening sequence. You can follow along in words and gestures, either or just meditate and feel through it. Here I am, as I am. Invitation to fully embrace how you are showing up here today. Embracing and welcoming anything that is present without having to change it right now. Here I am, embracing myself, giving myself full permission to listen to what I need and to adjust and modify in ways that make me comfortable and make this a meaningful time. Here I am entering receiving mode, like a gentle leaning back into a time of receiving rather than figuring out, getting it right, doing it perfectly. We just can give ourselves the gift of a time of play and experience, knowing that we are planting seeds. Here I am, and how do I want to be with this time? Moment of intention setting as we're entering. How do I want to feel? How do I want to be with myself? And the pattern. Here I am. Here we are. Taking a moment to looking around in the space, but also recognizing that there are people joining us from all over the world in our worldwide circle, sending some gratitude and love around. Here we are. Yay. All right. Spiral. What an exciting pattern. Last week, we were exploring spiral by moving the shape, by letting us be moved by spiral. And we were exploring some spirals in nature, spirals that were slow growing, that were spirals of expansion, of safety, but also of purpose and mystery. Today, we're going to be a little bit wilder. I kind of call them spirals of power. If you like, you can already just bring a little bit of spiral into your body. And of course, as always, you can do these explorations moving around wildly, but you can also do them very gently, quietly in a seating position or even laying down position if that is what you need today. As we are diving into the expressions of spiral in nature today, just a reminder that our idea is to allow these ideas to flow through us, to be embodied through us, to move us, rather than perceiving them as something outside of us. I will also in this exploration throw occasional questions at us. And today, the particular invitation to just allow those questions to be. Those questions aren't there to be answered right away. Those questions are little seeds maybe as well. So let's start gently by being a spider. I am a spider. I just managed to create the radial lines, to string the radial lines of my future net. It's like the spokes of the spider web. And now from the center, I start to create a spiral of silk. It is one continuous thread. But this first thread that I spin in a spiral is actually not the final silk. It is an interim, less strong and non-sticky silk. I weave it in the spiral motion as a scaffolding for what will be the full expression of my net. Creating stability and also giving me a pattern, a guideline for the finishing of my work. Let's say as a spider we've managed to make it to the future perimeter of the net. We're on the outside. And let's turn around and basically repeat the spiral from the outside in, following the scaffolding that we have created. But now we are replacing the temporary silk with the stronger, sticky silk. Generally eating up the temporary silk because we don't like waste. Continuing to follow our initial spiral, our temporary spiral, replacing it with the permanent. Using just one thread has a great advantage for us. Instead of having countless ends and beginnings of threads, this is one continuous spiral, which gives our net an incredible stability. From the center of the net, let's maybe perceive what we've created. A continuous spiral that allows a flexibility, a bounciness, of the nest, of the net. If there were an impact, it would be redistributed. It would be absorbed by what we've created. And through the combination of the spiral and the spokes, we've created a net that even if part of it was damaged, could be easily fixed because it's just a small segment of it. When in life does it make sense for me to create a scaffolding, a spiralic guideline that then I can follow to create the permanent? What are the structures? What are the aids that allow absorption of impact? Just taking a short moment to linger in the imagery, in the ideas. And then let's splash into the ocean and encounter current. A strong current flowing under the surface, encountering another current, maybe coming from a different direction, or maybe coming at us at a different speed. And generally, we can smoothly pass each other until there's an obstacle. Let's say a rock is in the way of our smooth flow. And as we're trying to move around it, creating a stir in the water. If the current continues and the obstacle remains, the swirl is sustained and might create a water vortex spinning underwater, a whirlpool. The stronger the current, the stronger the whirl, the deeper the whirl, spiraling, pulling things in. Particular things floating on the surface might get spiraled in and down. Water spiraling down and out at the bottom. What are the currents of my life? What are the obstacles that create a swirl? What vortexes are sped up by the intensity of the currents? What am I pulling in? Allowing ourselves to stay with the images, the sensations, the directionality of the whirlpool. We will stay with the ocean, but moving to the surface of the ocean. Surface water in a tropical area of the ocean, warming up and evaporating. We've been on this journey when we explored fluidity and form. So let's rise as evaporated water up and up until we cool down and start to create billowing clouds. Yet the heat that we've carried up doesn't just dissipate, it heats up the surrounding air, creating even stronger upward motion. Water vaporizes, transforms into clouds as it returns into droplet form, spreads that heat, passes it on, speeds up. Now all that upward motion creates areas of less pressure at the surface above the ocean, allowing fresh air to rush in and becoming part of what currently is like a one-directional toroidal form, which we found in vibration. Uprising air, spreading out, new air rushing in, circling as the toroid. Now this is not a spiral yet. Where does the spiral come in? Here we encounter something we've explored briefly in layers. The rotation of the earth. So we have toroidal movement, building up more and more clouds, building up more and more energy, and we have the movement of the earth, and both in combination start to create a giant hurricane spiral. The hurricane speeds up, builds, and is fueled by the repetition of the processes. It is reinforcing, speeding up, building, expanding into a powerful storm. Now, most of the fastest airflow up is around the eye of the hurricane. So the air is rising up, some is spreading out, but some also is falling back in through the calm center, through the eye. So in the midst of all the motion, all the force, there's the quiet center. Powerful, the strongest movement up around the eye. Calm center in the middle. What are the things that create my hurricanes through repetition? What do I repeat in order to increase, in order to amplify? What is the fuel? What is my evaporating water that started the process? And what is my calm center in the midst of it all? Let's move out into space. We are a cloud of gas and dust drifting through space. Maybe we already have a gentle, very gentle rotating movement. Now, as gravity starts to pull this cloud together, it might collapse. And this collapse creates a stronger spin. You can picture it like an ice skater pulling in their arms as they're going into a pirouette. The same way as gravity makes our cloud collapse, it starts to spin. This spinning cloud of gas and dust might have a supermassive black hole appearing in the center. This mystery of enormous mass will become the center of our gravitational pull inward, while the spinning, the centrifugal force on the outside, is the pull into the other direction, flattening us out into a spiraling disk. The black hole in the center pulling in, and the centrifugal force pulling out. Now our galaxy doesn't have its spiral arms yet. What are they? Spiral arms are areas of higher density. Gas, dust, stars clustered closer together. Things move slower in and through these arms, like a cosmic traffic jam. And you just have to slow down for until you pass through into areas of lesser density and faster movement. Gravitational pull of the black hole in the center will pull in some dust and gas and matter in a band, spiraling in toward the supermassive black hole, heating it up, burning it up, creating enormous amounts of energy that sometimes might jet out into space far beyond our galaxy. What is my galaxy? What is the collapse that creates my motion? What is my gravitational center? And what is the opposing force that balances it out? What are my arms of density and slowness? and the spaces in between. And what burns up to create massive amounts of energy shooting out. I am the human heart, a band of muscle, continuous band, twisted into a spiral. The pumping of my blood is a coiling and uncurling, a twisting and untwisting motion. Beautifully coordinated to start at one end and go through to the other. This twisting motion allows for incredible efficiency with the least use of energy. It allows for huge amounts of air to be pumped out at high pressure and to be brought in through an active untwisting. Out and in, out and in, twisting spiral, sustaining life. Now, the blood that is being propelled out of this heart spiral might show up in spiralic form even in our arteries, even some veins. As it spirals out of the heart, it will spiral through our blood vessels, easing the flow around the bends and twists and splits of our blood vessels. And additionally, the spiraling blood cleaning our blood vessels from the inside. Powerful spiral at the center, sending around spiral nourishment, cleansing to every corner of me. Let's allow ourselves a moment just to let these images reverberate. Feeling into ourselves, these patterns. How am I feeling now? All spiraled up. I would like to stay a little bit with our body in a slightly different exploration. This one might be easier to do if you can come up to your feet. But of course, you can always adjust too. But my first invitation will be to feel our feet underneath us and our upright structure above, which we've explored in line. And let us start just with a gentle bounce. Bouncing our system and just noticing the ability of our bodies to absorb Maybe imagining our body as a spiralic spring, or maybe several springs. Just for a moment, enjoying the bouncy springiness of our system. Noticing what all is involved in me as I bounce. So there are spiral flows in our musculature, in our fascia. Let's feel into that and explore that for a moment. Just picture like all those crisscross flows of musculature, overlapping, overcrossing, front to back, back to front. Just picture your musculature as wrapping you in spirals. And the same thing with our fascia, being part of that spiral flow. Let's explore like rotations. In particular, like a feeling of coiling and uncurling, like almost a charging and discharging. Like there are those twists that we can do at our waist. Trying the arm twists. Leg is a little bit trickier. That probably is actually one good to try when you're seated. Just sensing into that quality of little moments of charging up and then allowing it to release. Without having to know the details of how our musculature supports us in that, just finding a moment of marveling and imagining how the spiral flows are involved in that. And then let's all come into a gentle twisting swing. So kind of starting from the bottom up, ankles, knees, hips, coming up into the waist, into chest and shoulder, neck, until everything is part of a gentle twisting, spiraling. The arms can just gently hang and swing along. And again, feeling in this motion how we are supported in a smooth flow. How from the feet to the shoulders to the top of the head, everything is connected in a wrapped flow. Imagining the spiralic helical flows of musculature and fascia supporting that. Maybe starting to shift weight from one foot to the other and noticing how again our system is doing the absorption, the redistribution, how the entirety of me gets to be part of the smoothness, the support. And if you like, we can try an experiment, just staying in motion for a moment, but switching our idea of our supporting musculature and fascia to one that is more linear, like if there was nothing crossing over. And if I'm doing that movement, if I'm shifting my weight or twisting, how does the perception of me change? And then bringing the spiralic helical flows back in, just to feel the difference. And then if you like, just try on what happens in just a normal walk. If I'm just walking, is there some spiral action supporting me as well? For most of us, as we're walking, there is a diagonal, a spiralic movement happening. Left foot forward, right hand forward, and the other side, of course, as well. Let's just feel into that for a moment. We can play with some additional movements, like an arm swing. Also just feeling into that beautiful connection. Support. Redistribution of impact. Maybe switching the arm. And then if you feel inspired to, you can even get into a little spiral dance, honoring that feeling of support and bounciness, the spiralic flows. Maybe the idea and energy of this incredible pattern. This pattern of whirlpools, hurricanes, spider webs, our heart, ram's horns, sunflowers, pine cones, snail shells. Internal flows. It's allowing yourself to arrive, to linger, to move a little bit more if that's what you need or want, or find some stillness, find the eye of the storm. Oh, I don't know about you. Maybe we can chat about that in a moment, or you can drop some comments under the video. But at the end of these spiral explorations, there is just some energy buzzing everywhere. Super fun. Well, thanks everyone for being part of this rendezvous with a different spiral today. Yeah, an invitation to drop some comments or shoot me an email. I'm always curious to hear how this exploration is for you. If there are moments that happened during the session that stood out to you, or if there are moments throughout your life where you recognize spiral in your life and your patterns, or also any of the other patterns that we have explored. Thank you for your likes and shares. Thank you for telling your friends about this work. If it's meaningful to you, it might be meaningful to them. Thank you to Paul, our tech whiz, Third Street Center, and I'll see everyone in a week from today as we are going into our third